Hey y'all!
Hey Gallivanters!
So today we are here with our friends Derek and Eliz from Means to Travel, and we are doing the first video of a two-part series on extended travel throughout Europe. We've all done a lot of extended travel, and we've just got a few tips and tricks we've all learned along the way, sometimes the hard way.
We all were actually in Europe and had to come back to the United States really quickly when the coronavirus happened. So we kind of bonded over that on our extended travel that we were on that abruptly got cut short.
Absolutely. So make sure if you watch this video that you go to the Means to Travel channel and check out the rest of this video. The links will be below, and make sure and subscribe to their channel if you're not already.
Yeah, so go find the second part of this video on Means to Travel on YouTube. But don't forget to watch this one first.
So our first tip is to make sure you understand the currency of each country. Not every country uses the euro. So, just make sure you understand if you're traveling from country to country, what that currency is, what the denominations are, the exchange rate.
Yeah, those exchange rates can get you.
Yeah, so they all vary. I remember when we were planning our trip that got cut short and we were doing Scandinavia, I think we had 7 different currencies that we're gonna hit, and it was just like, okay, how do you keep up with all that?
Yeah.
So make sure you understand what the currency is in each country. Don't just think you're gonna go from country to country to country and use a euro. That will work in a lot of places, but certainly not all of them.
Absolutely. Our second tip is to also make sure that you understand a few of the basic phrases, basic words that each language that is not your own might entail. So we always like to learn hello, thank you, and a couple different food words, maybe the word for water, that sort of thing. Word for bathroom. Yes.
Absolutely.
Donde está el baño?
Yep. Nailed it. Yeah, so I think just having those few basic words are really going to help you be able to navigate a foreign country and make sure that you kind of have all of your needs met.
Yeah, well, and the other thing for me is that, I never want to go assuming people understand English when you're in their country. I feel like I don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah,
so, every time I would walk up, I'd always want to ask in the language, sorry, but do you speak English? Something along those lines, whether that's in Italian, French, etc. And that just makes me feel like I'm doing my part, not to be a stereotypical American when I travel.
Yeah, and we've encountered it where we've tried, and my little bit of Spanish that I know, I can kind of get by with Italian too because it's close enough. When you make the effort, suddenly most people seem to speak English better than they acknowledge on the front end. So seeing you make the effort first seems to always make a difference. And it's just the right thing to do.
And they appreciate it.
Yeah.
They do appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think just to piggyback off what Derek was saying, also on top of learning how to say, do you speak English? You might also want to say and learn how to say, I don't speak XYZ language. So whenever I'm in France, for example, as much as I try to learn French, I just can't get it. And so I have taught myself at least how to say, I don't speak French.
And then I guess maybe the third thing is, if you're on a prescription medication especially, you need to make sure that you have enough medication, even extra if you can, just in case, the unthinkable happens, that you get, stuck longer or whatever the case may be. And most countries have, your typical pain relievers, ibuprofen, Tylenol. It may not be called that, but you can normally find it. But as far as prescription medications, make sure you have plenty with you.
Yeah, because your prescription from here is not good in another country.
Right.
So, now some medications that are prescriptions here are not necessarily prescriptions elsewhere. But definitely making sure you have enough is a big deal.
Right.
So
you never know if your flight's gonna get canceled. Maybe you're gonna lose a little package of prescriptions along your trip, something like that. You just absolutely have to have as much as you need. So it's really just a precaution for sure.
Yep. And our fourth tip for you, if you're doing extended travel through Europe, is to make sure that your luggage is very durable and that you are very comfortable carrying it yourself, whether that's running through a train station in Germany or what have you, because there's gonna be times when you really need to be able to maneuver in crowds or what have you with your luggage. And we like to always talk about using carry-on luggage to the extent possible. Obviously, if you're gonna be a month, 2 months in Europe, that might not be possible. I will say we did 3.5 weeks in South America with just carry-ons, but that was in summertime, shorts, t-shirts, very, not winter gear. But it's about making sure that you have stuff that is easily maneuverable. Maybe don't do a bunch of, tote bags that you have to like carry all over you. I like to have, a nice large backpack. I find that to be a pretty easy thing to like maneuver with and carry and whatnot. But making sure that you have stuff that you are comfortable with and fits your travel needs and your luggage needs for the trip.
If your luggage can attach together, that's
Yes.
also an extra bonus because then you can kind of leverage just the wheels of one to roll it all. But when you're in Europe, a lot of the hotels there are they're older and so charming too, but maybe they don't have elevators. And so you need to be able to be comfortable at least carrying your bags up one flight of stairs or something like that. So that way you can get your stuff to your bedroom.
Yeah. Well, and we've seen people even on planes just getting on the plane to start their trip who can't lift their bag up to put it in the overhead.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And flight attendants technically aren't supposed
No.
to help you with that because it could be like a workplace hazard for them.
Yeah.
So that's an extra point. If you can't really lift it up over your head and to the overhead bin, maybe prepare in advance for that.
Yeah.
Do some weights, I don't know.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little practice.
Yeah.
But that's definitely going to be really, really important because like Derek was saying, you might be running late for your next train and you need to be running through the airport, running through the train station to get to the next thing. When you're checking in, there might be some need to get your bag from your taxi cab into your room, and just having the ability to do it on your own is going to be really essential.
Well, I remember we were running, we were taking the train from Amsterdam to Bruges, and you have to make a connection. And
It was a 6-minute connection.
It was a 6-minute connection. And Eliz and I didn't realize the trains were on the opposite sides of the station. And a very helpful woman actually was sitting next to us on the train. She's like, "Oh no, that's not close at all." She's like, "I will take you to the next." And she grabbed one of our bags and we just booked it.
Yeah.
And I will say, having large checked luggage running through one of those and having to carry it up to the 2nd story platform, I was dripping buckets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of that.
Yeah, for sure.
And our next tip is to take a collapsible cooler. A lot of hotels in Europe don't have refrigerators, or even if you're doing a road trip. You guys have done the NC 500. We're doing the NC 500 this year, and driving in the car.
Totally.
Just to keep things, something to eat, something to snack on, maybe a picnic lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes a big difference, and you can buy them that are just lay flat in the bottom of your suitcase, no problem.
Yeah, we ended up buying one once we got to Europe because we didn't own one before traveling, and so we just didn't really prioritize it until we got there and we're like, we need this.
Yep.
So we went to a camping store and found the first
last one.
Yeah, I think it was the last one because it was the end of the season.
Yeah, it was
But
out of season.
the first collapsible cooler that we could find in a store we purchased. And we used it the entire rest of our 3-month trip around the UK. And especially as you're saying, the NC 500 is a very rural, remote place, so packing sandwiches every day.
Yep.
It also saved a lot of money. I won't lie.
I mean, it's not gonna keep things, like a Yeti will for 3 days, but it certainly does the job from place to place,
Yeah.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Just keep putting more ice in.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, actually, that's another bonus tip to that. A lot of hotels in Europe don't have ice machines like they do, say, in the United States where we're filming this. So mapping out where the local grocery stores are that would maybe sell ice is a little bit of an important thing on top of the collapsible cooler.
Very good point. Very good point.
And then I think the next tip is, if you've ever been to Europe you know that most hotels, most even Airbnbs, they don't give you washcloths.
Nope.
I am a washcloth fanatic. I have to have a washcloth. I can't do it. So make sure you take some washcloths with you. And we actually buy just some thin washcloths, and like at the very end of our trip, they're ones that we basically can just throw away.
Do they dry quickly?
They do.
They
The
dry
microfiber.
very
They do their microfiber.
Yes.
The last batch I bought actually had the days of the week on it.
They did.
So that was fun.
Bonus.
Yeah. Wait, it's not Tuesday?
Yeah.
If we can, she'll put a link to this.
Yes,
below.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
But luckily, they're kind of thin and they're easy to wash. You know, 'cause
Wring out and
and
dry.
wring out and dry, and
Yeah.
so it's just that's a big tip.
Yeah.
Bring the washcloth.
Yeah, if you
Or
need,
two.
if you like them, then
Yeah.
definitely make sure you bring one.
Or if you're a loofah person, you can also bring the little travel size loofahs with you as well. Those are great too.
Yeah, we brought those with a little travel size suction cup hook
Oh,
for the
yeah.
showers.
Yeah.
So that way we can put the loofah in the shower because you know, surprisingly, most showers don't come with your own loofah hook. Bring your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next tip that we have is that you need to make sure to get travel insurance. So your healthcare maybe is only covering you if you're traveling within the United States or something like that, if you're a US citizen. Or if you're from anywhere else. You just need to make sure that your health insurance that you have works in Europe, and if you need supplemental insurance, you get it. So that's really important when it comes to traveling throughout Europe. But also on top of that, getting just kind of blanket travel insurance is really key, just in case your flights cancel or you have to change your hotel last minute, just something happens. It's just this extra layer of protection for your trip and for your pocketbook.
Yeah. No.
Sorry. Lost luggage. I mean, that's a big
Yeah.
deal. It's some of them you can get it where it covers actual rental cars as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, just understanding when you do get your insurance. Some people get an annual plan,
That's what we
and
do.
you know it'll be good for up to a certain number of days on your trip. Just make sure that you're covered if you're going to spend 3 months in Europe. That's covered under your annual plan, because some maybe are only good for up to 30-day trips. So take a look at that. The other piece that I would say is that look at your limitations of coverage around if you have specifically expensive things that you travel with. Like we all obviously travel with a lot of camera equipment and gear. And if you need to add separate riders for those specific things, they get lost, so you get reimbursed appropriately. You know, we talk about not taking expensive jewelry when you travel, but if you are traveling with, say, an expensive engagement ring, making sure that you have proper coverage so you know that that's going to be covered if it gets lost or stolen, or if you get robbed.
Absolutely. And another thing that we ended up taking out last autumn when we traveled all over the UK was extra riders for kind of adventure sports, which we didn't end up doing.
But I wanted to be
But
able
Derek
to.
wanted
I wanted the option.
he wanted the option to zip line when we were there, and so
The zipline places were closed.
yeah, pandemic. But he wanted the option to be able to
2020.
do those things, and you want to have a little bit of spontaneity, I think, sometimes. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do your homework. You know, it sounds like we need to put a whole video together on travel insurance, which we can do separately, but you know, it's an important thing to have. All right, and the last tip for this video is going to be around maybe thinking about getting a rental car. So if you're doing an extended tour through Europe, if you're going into multiple countries, if you're going to be in the rural parts of Europe, you know, I would highly recommend looking into how affordable or not it is to get a rental car for that time. When we were in the UK for 3 months, we did a 3-month rental through one of the rental car companies. And it ended up being a huge savings for us because it allowed us to go to places that we wouldn't have been able to get to just via, you know, bus, train, plane, etc. And it also allowed us to have flexibility and freedom of our schedule. You know, we weren't beholden to a train schedule, a bus schedule. You know, we were able to get to places more efficiently because of that. And when you're traveling, even on an extended trip through Europe, time is money. You know, you're spending a lot of money to be on this trip. So make sure that you have the freedom that you want with a rental car. So
yeah, so just to jump in, when we as part of that trip, did the NC 500, which is the North Coast
Yes.
500-mile road trip across northern Scotland.
Starts in Inverness, goes around, and comes back.
Yes, there are parts of that journey that can only be accessible via a car. So even if you were traveling via bus, for example, coach bus, you would not necessarily be able to go on those parts of the road and therefore not complete the full 500 miles. So there are those types of activities that just having a rental car is the only way to do that.
Yeah, and the train system in Europe is obviously great, but there are, like, we're going to spend some time in the Cotswolds, and most of those places are not connected via train.
Nope.
So I will say this though, just to add on to it, this is specific to if you're traveling to multiple places. If you're planning from going like city center, like London to Edinburgh, you don't need a car. You don't want a car in either one of those places. So just to clarify, for instance, for us, we're doing London last, so we'll drop our rental car off before we start our London part of our trip this year.
No, that's a great point. And when I'm in Europe, I hate driving in big cities.
Yes.
I will avoid it at all costs, but those usually are good places to get your rental car and to drop them back off of, because you're probably flying in and out of the big cities. So, for instance, we've done this in Italy, where we're flying in and out of Milan, where we then pick up the rental car, go do the whole Piedmont and Lake Como, and then drop it off and spend some time in Milan at the end.
Right.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all great points.
All right, y'all. So that is part 1 of our 2-part series on extended travel throughout Europe. Don't forget to go over to the Means to Travel channel, watch the rest of it, links below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Don't forget to ring the bell.
Dingy dong.
So you'll be the first to know when we release new content. And just remember,
Until next time, live your best life.
bye y'all.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.